I graduated from high school in 2020. In the midst of a pandemic and the renewal of a movement in support of Black lives, I remember walking around my neighborhood and seeing lawn sign after lawn sign adorned with a quote. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. These signs were meant to signal that the household wanted to make clear their support that Black lives matter. I wondered then what silence meant, and I wonder now, as 4 years of college wraps up, about matter. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. What is matter? Matter can mean many different things. Matter, in physics, is any substance that has mass and takes up space by having volume. What matters is what takes up our space. What matters is the position we occupy in the world, from the masks we have worn, to the construction we have woven around, to the trees we have never been allowed to climb in the woods. What matters is the box fans in our un-air-conditioned rooms, and the compostable coffee cups we're served, and the unusually large chair on the lawn over there. Matter is also significance, or reason for distress. What matters is what we care about, what we find important. So what matters? What mattered to us in 2020, when many of us began a college experience that would be overwhelmingly unlike any that had come before, and hopefully any that will come after? What mattered to us in 2021, when we re-entered what felt like a totally different college, one with classes in person and indoor dining and roommates? What mattered to us in 2022 and 2023, when we made sophomore plans over Zoom and declared courses that would inevitably change and studied abroad in countries that would slowly open up? What will matter to us in 2024, when we take what we've learned and actually have to do something with it? What matters now? What will matter for us in the future? I ask all these questions to prompt you to reflect, but I do have a little answer of my own. When I think through what has mattered for me at Swarthmore, it's been about the little pockets of community as we established and then re-established connections within the confines of COVID. Many of those who spend time at Swarthmore are endlessly fascinating and know what they want and how to do it. What's mattered throughout has been spending time with the people who matter. It's been spending too much time in the woods or at Katow studio nights and with the Frisbee team in Cy Commons. It's been social distancing in Willett's lounges and sitting in the hallways when we weren't allowed to be in each other's rooms. It's been gossiping in Narple's booths and the Sharple side room and at the tall tables in Kohlberg, and really when there was anyone around to share with. It's been the act of not sailing silent when something matters, even if that something might seem silly. But our lives do begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter, and the things that matter are hardly ever silly. That MLK quote is actually paraphrased. The real speech said, "A man dies when he refuses to stand up for that which is right. A man dies when he refuses to stand up for justice. A man dies when he refuses to take a stand for that which is true." He said this on March 8th, 1965, the day after Bloody Sunday, when 600 nonviolent protesters in Selma, Alabama, were tear gassed and beaten by state troopers and local police. Matter is one thing. But on the other hand, mind over matter, right? At Swarthmore, we are all about the mind, about our intellectually curious and driven students with great minds who take great care to, as our motto asks, mind the light. But if we are going to mind the light must matter. I am grateful to Swarthmore for the light that it's fostered in me, for what it has taught me and what it hasn't, and what I have found matters for me. My individual experience, however, differs from yours. What matters for the individual may be different from what matters for the collective. What light do we mind? And what light does the college mind? The college's mission statement asks us to commit to peace, equity, and social responsibility, as was rooted in our education from an institution founded coeducational and Quaker. The college will put its money where its mouth is, from cash-free to carbon neutral. The institution wants to foster students who will do something about what matters. And I feel that way. But what matters to the college? What matters when the institution declares what is and isn't peaceful protest, and when narratives of campaigns for change are continuously skewed? What matters when the college spends millions of dollars on a geo-exchange plant, but still upholds a ban on ethical divestment? What matters when commencement is moved 10 miles off campus after going back on good faith negotiations with students and faculty? How do we balance what matters for us and for the world? What matters for us, as shared members of the class of 2024, is that our college has tried to decide for us what matters. Every university in Palestine is gone. Take a moment to look around at your classmates. Pause for a second to recognize and celebrate the education you've had, the beautiful campus you had spent time on, and the connections you've made to last for years. Every university in Palestine is gone. Hundreds of students were supposed to graduate from college this year and were killed. UN experts have already told us, saying, and I quote, "With more than 80% of schools in Gaza damaged or destroyed, it may be reasonable to ask if there is an intentional effort to comprehensively destroy the Palestinian education system, an action known as scholasticide." Universities around the country have met students protesting this violence with police force, inviting violence into nonviolent encampments. What seems to matter is a repressive enforcement of the status quo that privileges some lives over others. What seems to matter is profit for many institutions, which appears here in the ability to change, at great expense, the commencement value, as caused by a refusal to consider, to acknowledge scholasticide. As alumni, even though we will leave Swarthmore, Swarthmore will never leave us. It is an institution that brought us up, and we decide what comes next. How do we want to matter? How do we want to take our matter, the very substance of us that has been honed and deepened by our time at the college, and make that matter? How will we respond to the silence around us? Swarthmore has shown me time and again that we are bound up with each other. Our liberation is intertwined not only through our time here, but by the very matter of our humanity. It is clear to me that it matters to make noise about oppression from within an institution that will not defend the dignity and humanity of Palestinian people. To mind the light, we must understand the light, we must tend the light, we must share the light, and we must amplify the light. What matters is that we not be silent. Everything we have learned leads to the understanding that we the people, we the planet, are bound up together. Our matter is intertwined. The students selected me as speaker, and I speak for the students. And now the students speak for themselves and for their peers. Now the students speak for themselves and for our peers in Gaza. Free Palestine.